You can go to Singh first if you want. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So hold on. Who are you going to?
Who are you going to?
Who are you going to first? Just so we know.
We have to know.
Nobody's caught off guard.
All right, we're back. Episode 8 of Crosstalk. I'm Tim.
I'm Chris.
And we're talking about quality movies versus rewatchable movies. As you can see, we brought Singh back. We enjoyed talking with him so much last time that we decided to bring him on as a regular member of the cast. So hopefully you guys are okay with it. I feel like he will be, though, because...
I hope so.
Why else would you watch the video?
And... yeah, so today we're going to talk about quality movies versus rewatchable movies. So, Chris,
yes,
I know that you have quite an opinion on this, and
absolutely.
And I want to give you an opportunity to defend some examples of rewatchable movies versus quality movies. So let's start with your favorite rewatchable movies. Do you have some that you think kind of start off as quality movies and then sort of lend themselves to being more so rewatchable?
Okay. Two that really stick out in my mind are Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Tremors.
Right.
And they both share a number of commonalities. They're quite broad interest.
Yeah.
They encompass a few genres. They're well acted, they're well paced, they can be funny.
Lots of action.
Lots of action in both of them.
Yeah.
To me, too, there's also scenes in both of them that oh boy, I can't wait till they get to that.
Yeah.
The fight with the big German guy in Raiders, the plane spinning around, and him and Harrison Ford have this knockdown, drag-out fight. You know, how's he going to win this?
Yeah.
I know how he's going to win that, and eventually what happens, and he ends up like knocking the guy like enough that his head goes into the plane. It's great. Also, too, there's this one scene where the guy comes out and he's flipping the sword all around and he just shoots them.
Yeah,
and I know the story behind that.
Yeah.
Basically, he was dehydrated from diarrhea.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to have this big...
He was supposed to have a real sword fight.
Real sword fight with the guy, but he just pulled the gun and shot him because he was tired. He had to go to the bathroom. For Tremors, there's a few things... the leads really play off well against each other. There's that camaraderie.
Yeah.
There's really good chemistry. There's a lot of great tension, especially right near the end.
Yeah.
Where he pulls off part of the fuse and then lights it and throws it behind. You're like, oh my god, what's going to happen? But I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Bacon, his character at the end, he's like, and it just kind of came to me, stampede, because the it hits it, makes the worm go faster and goes off the cliff and dies. And it's like, it's a great thing to sort of book into your movie, even though it doesn't kind of end there, but it's a great thing to book. So to me, to get to those points, like I can get invested in it, even though I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that makes sense. There's always movies like that pull on certain qualities that, we all individually appreciate, and I think that's why, those movies stand out for you.
Absolutely.
So now for Singh, obviously, he has other examples that stand out in his mind, right?
My two, I think, for rewatchability would be Terminator 2 and Predator.
Which is a pure sequel.
Yes. The thing is that with both movies, it's the ride.
Mm-hmm.
The ride, like especially with Terminator. Terminator, you already, Terminator 2, you already know exactly he's coming back and so on and so forth. But the ride is so well paced through the movie. It's so well done, and you enjoy it every time you're on it.
Yeah.
With Predator, it's the build up into every kill that the Predator does.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very well done, well paced as well, and you still want to know at the end. You're like, okay, well, when it's just Schwarzenegger and the Predator. You will sit and you'll watch. That's one scene where you'd stop vacuuming or stop cleaning the dishes,
and you would just
sit down
and pay attention.
And you start quoting the lines
well
in your head.
Yeah,
and
kill me, it's just great, right? And you love to see it each time around.
Yeah, and I'll maybe interject a little bit into that.
Sure.
I would also say big thing that both those movies have in common is they got a ton of heart in them too.
Oh yeah.
Like even though he's a cyborg in that, like the thumbs up at the end, you're like, my God, that's so sad. Or in Predator, like as each character dies, they do so well building the characters that you have a connection. Like when Jesse Ventura's character dies, and Max, like he's telling that story, and he's like you feel his pain.
You're
right?
there.
So there's a ton of heart in both of them. So I think that's a really big.
And that says a lot about Schwarzenegger's character, right? Like as an actor, he is able to showcase that certain quality of heart in his films. And I would say like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is now sort of our generation's
the spiritual successor,
right?
Yeah.
So when I think of rewatchable movies, I also have that sort of. There's always some sort of like pull on my heart that says this is something that's fun and enjoyable. And when I think of that, I always come back to rom-coms like The Wedding Singer and High Fidelity, which are both movies from the '90s. But again, I don't think that matters because a rewatchable movie is something that you're going to come back to over and over again.
It transcends, yeah.
So, when I think of those movies, I get excited about the soundtracks, and for whatever reason, that's something that always appeals to me is bringing in all kinds of art forms. So, and then there's the fourth wall breaking in High Fidelity, which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
And, there's the genre hopping in Wedding Singer when, Adam Sandler's going from being like a rock artist to sort of, he's kind of teetering that line with the punk and stuff like that, and you got great cameos from Billy Idol, and
absolutely,
and
the song,
that song in the middle,
the song in the middle.
Somebody
John Lovett's super creepy character.
Yeah. Now, I think there's one in particular that sort of perfectly encapsulates that idea, which is The Princess Bride. And I don't know.
Yes.
If you guys are in agreement on that?
100%. Yeah, agreement.
And so am I. And I know that may come to some fans out there as a shock, me being the action guy.
Yeah.
But there's action in it, though.
There is. And the thing is that the action is a wholesome action.
I mean, like, overall, if you think about a plot, it's fairly straightforward and cookie cutter, but it's paced and written really well.
Yeah.
Like, just so, like, it's so quotable. So quotable.
And Robin Wright.
Inconceivable.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows what that means.
And Robin Wright does such a good job of towing that line between you loving her and hating her for how she treats
Wesley.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is for all action aficionados, is that the revenge. Mandy Patinkin's revenge. The six-fingered man.
You can get a T-shirt that says, with the little sticker, "Hello, my name is," and it says, "Indigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die."
Yeah.
And he kept on going. He got stuck again.
Yeah.
My name, and he kept on going. That little, it's kind of
Stop
like
saying
comical.
that.
Yeah.
Again, see, it's so quotable, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like over the top, but I mean, you still feel for him. Because like when he explained the story to Wesley, how his father died and everything. I mean, it pulls on, like, it's a family movie.
Yeah.
The first time I seen that movie was actually in summer school.
Nice.
You can enjoy each of the characterizations for different reasons. Like Fred Savage's character as a little boy is so good because he's sick, but he's initially hesitant to take on this fairy tale, and then he eventually comes around and he's invested. Like, there's so many interactions in that story. They're like little vignettes, even.
It's just an all-around rewatchable and quality movie. I mean, for my teacher, like, I don't know if they probably done it in other schools too, but for a teacher to bring that in, I brought that movie home to show my parents, and we had it for family night, and man, it's my dad's favorite film.
Yeah. So
now, and
it transcends gender, race,
everything.
like everything.
Yeah.
You can just get into that movie. It's not heavy-handed at all.
Yeah.
You can put it on, like, you can have it on while you're doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And then you'll come back for the things that you're really interested in. Like, it's just,
And it'll get the attention of everybody in the house.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, cool. So, I think for me, when I think about quality movies, it's usually gut punch, right? Like, that's usually the thing that brings me into the movie in the first place and has me invested in it, but then it ends up being really emotionally draining, so I back off of it.
Yeah, it's not something you want to come back to again.
I can't see myself putting myself through that on a regular basis, and maybe it's just part of my nature or what have you. But
I think it's fairly common, actually.
Yeah. So the movie Prisoners, I think, is a fantastic example of a quality movie that you can't sit and watch it every 2 months or whatever, because the nature of the film is such that you are in a position as a parent watching this whole crime scene unfold, and you can't find your child, and you're like, what would you do in that situation, right? So anyway, so that's one example. I think that's a really good example. And then the other one is a very recent movie, which is an Oscar-winning movie for the lead, and her name is escaping right now, so I'm just going to gloss over that.
Okay.
But it's Room, which is about a young woman who, and not to spoil too much of the movie, but I think there's enough out there about it that you would know, but she's effectively kidnapped in her early 20s, and her captor sires a child with her. So it's sort of like one of those Stockholm syndrome situations. Not entirely, because she does realize that she wants to get out, but she puts up with a lot just to make sure her kid is taken care of. Yeah,
and it's they don't know anything. Like to them, the world is that room, right? Yeah. So then they eventually go, and then.
And that's only the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie. The rest of the movie is her being reintroduced back into society, and trying to cope with everything that she's been through, and all the challenges she's faced, and ridicule from the media, things like that. A problematic relationship with her father, all these things, and again, you feel for the character because it's so intense. And like, what would you do in that situation yourself, right?
So I have two examples that I would say quality, but that I would not keep going back to. The first one is one I actually just saw recently, and I believe it came out last year. It's called Force Majeure, and it's about a couple, husband and wife. And they have two children. They go to the snow. They go to this resort in the mountains, and there's this controlled avalanche while they're having breakfast one day, and at first it looks fine, but then it's coming towards them, and it looks like it's going to be an actual avalanche. So the mom shields her children, and the dad runs away. So it's a study. Yeah, I know, but you would think that you would just side with the wife and everything, and I totally do, like, as a father. But at the same time, they do make an interesting argument the other way about you don't actually know what you would do in that situation until you were in that situation. The other one is a movie that came out several years ago, and I hold it very dear to my heart because I really love it. It's called Time Crimes, and it's a Spanish language time travel movie. And the twist is you can sort of see it coming a little bit, but it's very interesting the way it's done. It can be a little bit slapsticky at times, but it actually fits the overall theme. But it's one of those films where again, it can be a little long, and to get to where it's going, again, it's not taking anything away. It's a fantastic film, but it's something that I really loved, but I've watched it once.
For me, my quality movie was going back a while. I think 40 years now, maybe 43. Into the Dragon. Obviously, a Bruce Lee film. Now, the reason why this is quality for me is that because, like, I mean, I can sit down and watch it over and over because I see all the nuances and stuff. A regular fan would be able to say, "Oh, I seen Into the Dragon a long time ago, and yeah, it was really good. It was really good." They'll remember it was really good. Have they seen it often? No, but will they see it again? Most likely. But the thing is that for them to go back and rewatch it, it would have to be on like a nostalgic night or something like that, or they have to be in the mood for it. They say, "Oh, well, I haven't seen a long time."
They read a Bruce Lee article or saw a quote or something
like that. Yeah, or
what movie we should watch tonight?
One of those. Yeah, for fans of Bruce Lee, it has what we call the invisible hand. It's a frame by frame. You can only see it by slowing down and watching it frame by frame. He attacks the guy 1, 2, 3, and then you don't see the hand. You don't see his one hand hit the guy. And if you have never seen it, or you just glossed over it, watch it again. Yeah. You will have to you'll do a double take. You're like, what? Because I always ask people when I watch it with them, so which hand did he hit him with? And everyone.
But again, maybe that's something that, say, the casual moviegoer or the average
they will miss
action fan,
would
miss. Not, and maybe they wouldn't seek it out because of that, right?
Yeah.
And wouldn't make it rewatchable.
So it's an excellent study in martial arts,
Yeah.
but it's not something that is popcorn,
No.
right?
So when you think about it, everyone will know that that's a Bruce Lee movie, because a lot of people don't remember his Hong Kong movies.
Yeah. I think there's another example that really, really fits the idea of a quality movie, and I feel like we've all seen it.
Mhm.
It is a movie that is also an action-based movie, Singh. So
I'm waiting on bated breath, my
Yeah,
friend.
exactly.
Okay, so lots of movies have come since this movie that have demonstrated that, it is the kind of movie that is a vehicle for, all kinds of genres to riff off of. It is a movie about a group of samurai. I believe there are 7 of them.
That is, yeah.
And it's a Criterion Collection movie. So, obviously we know from that value alone that it is an upper echelon pick, right?
Yeah, the length of it is
quite
a
sizable.
challenge.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, again, you can't have that on and wash the dishes. You can't.
You'll lose it, right?
You'll lose. Yeah, you'll lose what makes it so good.
And there's obviously the translation factor, right? So not only can you not just walk away, you actually have to be looking on screen, unless you're fluent in Japanese, which I imagine most of us are not.
Or I guess, I don't know if they've made English dubs for that. I'm thinking by now they would have.
And even if they did, a lot of film purists and
Wouldn't
people,
watch it.
they wouldn't
They
watch
won't
it.
watch it.
They won't watch it that way.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that begs for you to
The original.
give it your full undivided attention.
Yeah. The nuances of the combat scenes is exactly, though they had on that, I think on that particular movie, they had a couple of archers, professional archers,
Yeah.
come through. So you knew exactly how, and in Japan, that's actually an art form itself.
Mhm.
So, and they have to do it traditional. So the bows and everything have to be traditional for the time.
Yeah, they're
and
like hand
everything.
hewn and everything like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And so that's what gives it that authenticity, and you can actually feel that in the movie.
Yeah.
So that's what comes through, right? The
Yeah.
authenticity, right?
Let's talk about a movie that I think can ride that line between being rewatchable versus quality, and I know that we're going to probably have different opinions on.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie fits into Chris's wheelhouse.
Yes,
It's a horror movie.
that's right.
And it is called The Cabin in the Woods. And the reason why I chose that movie is because, for my part, I think it is not rewatchable. It is a quality movie, and I have a very specific reason why I think that about it.
Exactly.
He's just biting at the bit.
Oh, I know.
Just biting at
No,
the
just
bit.
let me go. Just let me go. I respectfully disagree with you. I think it is eminently rewatchable. Every definition of the word.
How did I say
You've got Whedon. You've got Goddard. You've got. It's funny. It's you have actors that Whedon's used before. The concept is great.
Yeah.
You have their own riff on a bunch of different films. It starts off as something and ends up being something different.
Does it pass the Bechdel test?
I don't know. I'd have to rewatching it because
You didn't even subject it to the test because you're so.
I know, I'm so in love with it.
Yeah.
But knowing Whedon, because Whedon's a feminist, knowing Whedon, it probably does. But I wouldn't.
I'm just teasing you. Keep
Yeah,
going.
I'm not
But
sure.
that's kind of
But at any rate, it starts out being something, and then it starts out being a stereotypical horror movie, but then ends up being so much more.
Okay.
Do
Do you want to weigh in, or do you want me to say why I don't?
Well, I think, you know what? I think I'll put my 2 cents in here just because it's like just I just watched the movie like a month ago.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I just watched it a month ago because I was
Yeah.
meaning to watch it, and everyone's saying that, if you like 80s horror, if you like all the cameos, it's all there. You gotta watch it. I'm like, all right, let's do that. I finally got time, so I watched it, and I haven't looked back. I don't think I'll look back for a while.
Really?
And the reason why...
Don't get that at all.
But the reason why
I don't
because
understand.
of course you would, Chris. You
I don't
wouldn't.
understand. Yeah.
Because the thing is that it's a fulfilling movie. Like it's a quality movie because it hits all the cues for mocking the genre,
Yeah.
spoofing the genre, respecting the genre,
Right.
all at once. Like for me, if I've had Red Lobster, all you can eat shrimp,
You go back to it.
I can't go back tomorrow and do the same thing.
Yeah. It was a
I'll
good
wait again
experience.
until the
Yeah,
special
it's
comes.
different. I feel like that's different.
Okay. So,
But before you start, this is where the personal bias comes in because I'm admittedly a horror fan, like
Yeah.
very much so.
So
right?
and this is where so I'm riding the line a bit here because I feel that, which is odd for me because usually I'm very staunchly in one camp or the other.
Yeah, I know. I'm shocked as you.
But why I end up falling on the quality side is because it ends on such a horrific note.
That's what makes it so good, though.
No, it's too despotic. It's like everything. I mean, I'm using the wrong word, but it's too problematic. It makes you feel like there's no reason to come back. It's got that H.P. Lovecraft thing where it's like everything is horrible and.
So yeah, I can see your point there, but for me, it's one of those things where it's like 99% of the time, and especially even in horror, 99% of the time, they make the good choice. They make the choice that saves humanity. And this film was like, F that.
Yeah, but
and we're gonna do our own thing, and I can appreciate it even more.
So it's good from like a satire or a subversive point, but they were subversive for quite a bit of the movie. Like, why would it have to end on such? It's like Carnosaur. Like, the bad guys win. Like, I get that every once in a while you have to have a bad guys win movie, but the whole movie just kept ramming it down your throat, like how conceptual it was. It was so conceptual the whole way through.
if I never watched the movie, this episode will make me watch it.
Yeah.
But now I watch the movie, and the fact that I don't have any urge or appetite to go back.
You're fine. You don't need to.
Yeah, I don't need it. Yeah, and that's the thing. And as we went back,
But that's why it's such a good example of subjective.
right.
Rewatching
And because my tastes grow and evolve all the time, maybe I'll change my mind.
Maybe you will. Yeah.
Right? Who knows? So I don't know. What do you guys think? Chris, did we cover it all?
Yes, I think we did. We made some really excellent points about all three. The two types, and then we had one where we can sort of
have a healthy debate.
Just illustrate that subjectivity definitely plays a huge part in rewatchability for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like anything else.
And I finally got to go and say that there are quality action movies.
Like what you see here, did you enjoy the video? Were there some more movies that you might want to put into maybe quality or rewatchability? Do you agree with this or disagree with any of our choices? Feel free to comment below, like the video, or even better, subscribe to the channel.
Until next time, I'm Tim.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Crosstalk.